Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, whoever and wherever you are. Normally at host city conferences, I'm allowed to offer a few words of welcome to Glasgow, my home city, and normally on a crisp, clear and sunny day. But in these strange times, it's more difficult to do that, but a Glasgow welcome is still just as sincere. Now, the theme for this conference, the big restart, recovery with a purpose for the digital age, was no doubt chosen some time ago. And I hope that restarting is imminent. For events, sporting and all the others still seek the freedom to restart. Sport, which is my interest and today my theme, has taken a terrible beating from coronavirus. In my country, it almost ceased to exist. Slow recovery is underway, but nobody should be confused that problems no longer exist just because professional team sport appears on our television screens without spectators. Grassroots sport has been decimated, and sadly and crucially, sport for millions of young people sometimes no longer exists. I am encouraged by a recent newspaper-driven campaign to deal with this problem, and that has been accepted by our government in London. But elite sport, and almost all Olympic sport, survives on the delivery of elite events. Only a very few have been seen. US Open tennis and golf, the Tour de France, the Cycling World Championships have all been held. And there is, of course, the bubble events, for example, the London Marathon. But these bubble events have problems and are restricted in many ways to a small number of athletes. The digital age does allow athletes to train on their own as independent, and that helps, but it doesn't solve the problem entirely. So delivery of the biggest event of all, the Olympic Games, summer and winter, currently concentrates all the minds and efforts of the International Olympic Committee. We are in the hands of the organising committees in Tokyo and Beijing and their public authorities, and we greatly respect and thank them for all the outstanding efforts they are making to host the athletes of the world in July 2021 and February 2022. Earlier this year, the cancellation of the Tokyo Games was based entirely on the absolute need for the safety of everybody involved. The same need for safety still guides all our thinking, but we recognise the presence of new opportunities which may just allow the Games to proceed in safety. It is too early to make any definite decisions, as the spread of the virus is still wide with new waves in Europe and several other countries, and at present in the United States of America, where the statistics are very concerning. But there are hopeful developments. Japanese authorities seem confident that they will be able to host the Games in July next year and have made confident statements that they are happy to do so. Excellent work has been accomplished to ensure that all the necessary facilities will remain available for the Games 1 year later than planned. Central to their planning is their understanding that new systems and processes have developed to deal with the virus, and that these will be adapted to athletes, to officials, to the necessary contractors, and perhaps to spectators when they come to Tokyo. The IOC is working on their decisions on how to accept all of these different rules and to explain how a different games will be delivered. There's also the development of new and faster methods of testing for the virus, which will allow greater safety for Tokyo, for those who visit, and for the 35 million people who live in the greater Tokyo area. The possibility of a series of successful and effective vaccines can only help, but these need regulatory approval manufacture of the many millions of doses which will be needed, and the successful logistical challenge to distribute them to people who need them, while recognizing that this cannot be made compulsory. The IOC are confident that the Games can be held and are examining all their own processes and administration, that Games in 2021 will have to be different, and that the inevitable economic pressures have to be met. So when they are working flat out each day with current restrictions on them in Switzerland and travel from Switzerland, they do so to organise an event which is a priority for the 11,000 athletes from 206 national Olympic committees all around the world, and with the Paralympic Games to follow thereafter. This is not easy, but it fits the theme of the big restart. If this restart can be delivered by Japan, it will confer the greatest possible admiration and gratitude on that country, and to the IOC for their confidence and all their efforts to adjust the requirements to make it happen. For the next 2 days, it's good to know that we will be hearing from and hopefully engaged with an impressive list of people with their common interest in sport and with expertise and hope for the greater exhibition and event industry. Many of them are my friends and colleagues, old and new, from the Olympic and Paralympic movements, but all with expertise that they are happy to share in these strange and difficult times. In particularly my old badminton friend Etienne Taubois, who is now the Chief Executive of the Paris 2024 Organising Committee. They and he should all be very interesting. Enjoy.